Welcome to the 425th edition of the Holy Backboard Podcast. I'm Dustin here in Rip City, and I got my man.
Sage kicking it live and direct here in Beaverton, Oregon. I've been computer shopping for a new workstation, and ever since I decided, hey, I need a new computer, the current computer that I'm using has been working perfectly. So the technology is really trying to keep in use because once I upgrade this current computer is gonna get recycled. So it's trying its hardest to stay in use. So I appreciate you, computer. Thank you for all your sacrifices and all the audio engineering I've done on this machine. Shout out to you. But we are here talking about the Portland Trailblazers. So
Yeah, no episode last week. Taking the week off for the Thanksgiving holiday. How was your break?
it was good, man. My brother and his girlfriend flew in from Mexico, and then we drove down to Medford for Thanksgiving with my mom, and it was very nice. Except the fact that we all got sick, but really good food. Got to bond with my mom, which is always good. My brother got to introduce his girlfriend to his family, so it was a very fun holiday. How about you?
Yeah, it was great. My parents came up. Probably some of the best spread we've ever had. Really good food. Always a fun weekend. Probably my favorite weekend of the year. Traveled
Without
up
a doubt, me too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
traveled up to Seattle for to watch the Ducks beat the Huskies again on Friday and Saturday. Sunday came home, got a Christmas tree decorated, and so, just getting fully entrenched in the holiday spirit.
So what's the energy like in a Oregon Huskies in Seattle game? Is it what's it like?
I mean, my interaction with Husky fans is always like genuinely positive. It's
Oh, really?
probably because I don't talk any shit. Like I am
Okay.
like I don't like confrontation. I cheer for my team. That's it. I don't like talking trash because I don't like when people talk trash back to me. So that's kind of like a line in the sand that I draw. I also don't drink when I go to games, and I know that drunk people who don't know how to control themselves are the ones that tend to stir up the most ruckus. There was a Husky fan in front of us who was genuinely really nice and kind of chatted with us all throughout halftime. He had taught at UW. He had five kids that all went through UW. Like he had been there. I still hate the Huskies, but it's like I've never really had a problem with their fans in person at that stadium. Oddly enough, the worst fan experience I had was in Seattle for a Seahawk game, and they were Husky fans, but they were also Seahawk fans. There's something about NFL fans that is ratcheted it up two or three notches from a college football game, and it's why I will never go back to an NFL game. It's too wild. People just use it as an excuse to get plastered and blackout drunk, and not my scene, but it was a fun game. There were a ton of Duck fans in the stadium. At times, it felt like it was louder when we cheered than when they cheered. I would say overall, the loudest it got was maybe like an 8 out of 10. That was on that third down, right when they had scored. They had
Yeah, the
cut the lead.
momentum was on Seattle's side, right? 'Cause it was like a 0 yard, 1 yard gain, and
Yeah, it
then
was
for
they had just
70.
gotten a touchdown on 4th and 8. We were at 3rd and 9, and then Dante drops back, hits Malik Benson, and then there's a screenshot of like five Huskies around him, and it's like Malik Benson scored on this, and it was just like so awesome. Their crowd just absolutely deflates. The game is over right then and there, and the Oregon fans erupt. I honestly prefer away games for college football than home games. I love going into another stadium and getting a win and seeing the fans that come with it. So yeah, super fun. Always love making it to at least a game or two during the football season. And now we wait for the playoffs.
I feel like five is the if you're not getting a bye, and there's obviously a push pull with the bye week because it's 3 weeks of nothing. I feel like five might be the premium spot to be because you play the 12th and then you play Texas Tech or one of those teams and then you go to Ohio State, which is going to be difficult, but at least you don't have to go, a better first game. You're going to have the best potential spot. I've only gone to one, no, two. I've gone to two college games, Oregon USC, but it wasn't really that big of a deal because
I
USC
saw you
was
at that
bad.
game.
Yeah. I've gone to one LSU Alabama game. And honestly, this might be a different experience than anybody else that was an LSU fan at the time. The Bama fans were wonderful, really supportive and wonderful to me at least.
I think it's an energy that you put out that you also receive. But yeah, I think this is definitely the last year of a 12-team playoff. I think college football is an absolute mess. Right now, you're having potentially two group of five teams get in because the ACC champ could have five losses. Yeah, you're right. Like it shouldn't be where the five seed is the most advantageous or the six seed is the most advantageous. Like you should want a top four seed, but because the calendar is all out of whack, you're having all of these breaks. Like no other sport, you play the regular season and then take a massive layoff before you go into the postseason.
Yeah.
But I've been kind of thinking about that since we've last recorded because like there are times when I watch the Blazers and in the NBA, I just get so frustrated, whether it's even during that comeback against Chicago, Chicago was playing stupid.
So they were selling the bag.
You're
Yeah.
pulling up on a 1-on-4 fast break to shoot a three in the midst of a Blazers run. Like that's dumb basketball, but that's
Yeah.
what these players are trained to do now. It's pace and space and get up as many shots as possible. And heaven forbid, do not shoot a mid-range jump shot. And then you watch Oklahoma City and Portland, and you've got Denny and Shea just foul baiting the lights out. And that is not enjoyable basketball either. But then as college football is super messy. Lane Kiffin obviously leaves a playoff team.
Mhm.
Uh, BYU almost lost their head coach to Penn State, but then Donor stepped in and matched that contract. You've got players leaving during the season. The NFL players are retiring before the age of 30. Baseball, there is no salary cap, so teams like the Dodgers can use Japan as their farm system.
They've already made the money that they paid Shohei, the 700 mil. They got it back in one
They're
year.
deferring that. They don't
Yeah.
even have to pay it right now. They can pay him later, which is just absurd. So it just got me thinking whenever I get upset at the NBA, and the NBA definitely has its warts, I was like, no sport right
No
now
sport's
is not
perfect.
messy.
Yeah.
Every sport is messy, and it's just what can you kind of put up with. But let's quickly recap what has happened in Rip City since we last recorded. We mentioned the Chicago game. Portland came out again with poor energy. This was the night after getting embarrassed by the Suns on national television. But they did. They came back. They were down 21 points in the fourth quarter with about 9 minutes left. They made a rally, had a chance to win, couldn't make free throws. Tumani Sold decided to help when you're up two. Levuch wide open.
Mhm.
Three, bang. Portland now becomes the first team in NBA history to lose on three buzzer beaters from three in a calendar year, which is absolutely wild. Two happened within, I think, the same month. Just absurd. But then they have probably the most incredible, improbable victory of the season, going to Golden State, beating a fully healthy Warrior team. They did that 127 to 103 behind a massive performance from Caleb Love. They got great minutes from City
Mhm.
Sissoko. As expected, they really rest a ton of their injured bodies against the Thunder in Oklahoma City, losing by 27 points there. Bounce back to close out that road trip, pummeling the Milwaukee Bucks 115-103. Come home for a big cup matchup against the San Antonio Spurs. This would have advanced them into the knockout stage. Unfortunately, they just decided not to show up defensively, allowing 123 points, losing by 8 in a game that they just could never get consecutive stops. No Steph Castle, no Victor Wembanyama. Really tough scene for the Portland Trailblazers, just allowing De'Aaron Fox to get to wherever he wanted to on the floor.
Devin
Uh,
Vassell looked like damn Kobe Bryant for a few
yeah,
moments
he
too.
hit some crazy shots that probably don't go in most nights, but they did tonight. You have to face Oklahoma City for the third time in the regular season before Portland hits the 20 game mark, which is just a tough ask. They played them tough, controlled a lot of the game until the very end when Shea just decided to take over and Portland had no answer for them, losing 123 to 115. And then Portland yet again does not take care of business against the Eastern Conference, losing the first game of a 5 game road trip to the Toronto Raptors, 121, 118. They fought back again. They got down 14 points in the fourth quarter. They came back. They just missed free throws. Denny Avdia yet again had a wonderful night, especially distributing the ball. He had a career high 14 assists, but when the game was on the line, his selfish tendencies again shone brightly. And I'm not talking about the one where he should have been fouled. That was when we were down four at the moment. I'm talking about the possession prior. We had a chance to tie the game. He decides to take it on all by himself. Nothing happens. Very reminiscent of that Dallas game. where he had two chances to be the hero. He's trying to be the hero instead of being a facilitator, instead of trying to make others better, get a good shot for somebody else. And I think teams know that. I think teams know in the clutch, Denny Abdia is going to try to put that moment on tape to get that all-star campaign. And I'm just not really with it right now. I want to see him find a good shot for somebody else because in isolation, in half court, he's not the guy that's going to get to the cup. He's an open court player where he can get momentum and go downhill. But players are hip to what he's going to do and what his move is. He has one move
especially when
and
it's not transition at all, and they can
not
just fill the
transition, and
wall.
you are in a tight scenario. Like the paint is condensed, kick it out, get a good shot. And if somebody misses, that is the right play. Make the right play, not the hero play. And I'm getting a little tired of Denny trying to do everything himself instead of relying on his teammates. With the Blazers broadcasting trying to hype up potential assists like they are a box score statistic, it would have been nice if he would have actually tried to get a potential assist in the clutch for once.
Yeah, I feel you. The thing that for me when I'm talking wins and losses now, it's about all right, how bad is this matchup going to be for Tumani to defend? For me, I knew we were losing to the Spurs because De'Aaron Fox is far too fast for Tumani to handle. I was feeling good. If you looked at our IG, I said we were going to beat the Raptors because we had these dudes to go against that are lengthy and not particularly athletic. Like Brandon Ingram is, he can hit very difficult middies, but he's not athletically super gifted. And Scotty Barnes is really slow and doesn't jump high, but is super skilled. So I thought Tumani was going to be perfect against that. It's strength against strength, not speed versus strength. And then when the first play, I was like, oh shit, this is going to be a loss because he aggressively went at Emmanuel quickly. And I'm like, quick is fast. Why are we trying to do this? It's for me, I know Tumani's gassed up by everybody, but it's like, there's two perfectly easy matchups for him to defend and look fantastic. And Brandon Ingram's a superstar, not Emmanuel Quickly. Why are we doing this? It just confuses me. There's two things defensively that confuse me. One, why are we putting Tumani on players that are too fast for him? De'Aaron Fox is the fastest dude in the NBA. Why are we having a 6'9", 220-pound dude try and chase the fastest guy? And then quickly, the same thing. Obviously, I knew Thunder eventually were going to push ahead, so I wasn't really mad about the defensive matchups. But then secondarily, I think that we're playing too aggressive and too high. If Tumani has a disadvantage in speed, why are we pressing at the half court and having Emmanuel quickly just go by him, and then it becomes a bad transition basket that we're trying to defend instead of a half court basket? It just seems like I get why we're doing it, but it just doesn't make sense with the players that we have to play fast and play aggressive defensively. We don't have that many bodies, so why are we pushing it so we have to defend at half court instead of in in the half court basketball? It just doesn't make sense how we're so aggressive, and then I know what's about to happen. Emmanuel Quickly or whoever the point guard is just going around him, and he's gonna get a pull up jumper, and it's gonna be the best. There were plays where Emmanuel Quickly was shocked it was so easy to get into the paint against us, and he made a bad decision. He did it a bunch where it was like, this was easy. Oh, well, let me pass it. I we could be a good defensive team. It just we can't press. I get it. We're the number one pressing team, but when you press, you put yourself at a disadvantage if the player gets in front of you and it becomes a transition. Any transition opportunity is better for the offense than a half court. It just is. And we do it consistently and consistently and do not change. Like I want Splitter to be a good coach, but doing the same thing over and over and over again is the definition of insanity. So why are we continuing to do it? It just doesn't make sense. I knew the offense was going to be bad, but I thought the defense was going to be a little bit more respectable. You got guys like Nick Smith You got guys that aren't superstars just taking advantage of the defensive stopper on our team. And it's like, we just have to scheme and put players in position to succeed. I know we committed to him. Let's put him in a position to succeed. And right now, Tumani Kamara is not succeeding defensively at all.
Yeah, the Blazers are now 25th in the NBA in defensive points per game allowed, over 121 points per night, which is pretty absurd. I have I am not certain why NBA teams are pressing right now. One, it's not 1994, and we're not Nolan Richardson's Arkansas Razorbacks. These are NBA level ball handlers. They're going to get by you.
It's
They're
not
going to
John
get you
Stockton out
spots.
there who has nothing. There's dudes that
I mean,
would be
it's
witches in the 90s.
not only is our depth, especially at the guard position,
Non-existent.
really diminished, but when you allow drive first quick, jittery point guards like Nick Smith, like De'Aaron Fox, like Emmanuel Quickly, when you allow them to turn the corner and get downhill, it bends your defense and puts Portland in a position where they do not function well, and that's making multiple rotations. It's very hard to continuously close out, go find your next assignment when the ball is humming around the perimeter. The the strategy for Splitter to continue to press and not encourage these non-shooters to shoot from three is very frustrating
Worrisome.
and worrisome. De'Aaron Fox continues to get to his spots. I'm like, make him shoot a three. If he's going to beat you from three, tip your cap and move on. That's where you want him shooting.
Hmm.
It's just like game one of the 92 finals. You want Jordan to shoot all of those threes. You don't want him getting into the paint, getting into the mid range. That's where he's going to live. He happened to hit those threes. He's the greatest player of all time, but that's the strategy you needed to play. You need to play a little bit smarter, and I have not been impressed with that defensive strategy. I also don't think it puts Tumani in
Mm.
a good light. I think it's letting it impact him offensively, and I think his offense is also impacting his defense. Now, he has shown some signs of life. You're looking at 19, 8, and 4 against the Thunder on Sunday, including 5 of 10 from three. He was 6 of 10 from three against Toronto with 21 points and 6 rebounds. He had 20 points in that Golden State victory, 4 of 6 from three, again, 7 rebounds. Like, you're noticing Tumani when he plays well, he's hitting his three and he's rebounding the basketball. Those are the two telltale signs with Tumani Kamara, and he's also making those defensive plays. Against Milwaukee, I thought he turned the corner defensively. I thought he did a really good job against Ryan Rollins.
Hmm.
So there is some light at the end of the tunnel when it comes for the Trailblazers. I think aside from the actual, strategic and scheme that the Blazers are initiating, my biggest complaint with them has just been the level of intensity and effort, right? The Phoenix game was disturbing. Chicago for 3.5 quarters was disturbing. San Antonio in that second half, just not good. Like you're supposed to be hyped for this.
Hmm.
You could have won the group of death for the NBA Cup. I
Hmm.
know the NBA Cup doesn't really mean shit, but that's for a young team to say, "Hey, we are in a group with Houston and Denver and Golden State and San Antonio. We won." That's something to hang your hat on and build upon as you go into the stretch run of the season. They laid an absolute egg against the Spurs, and that can't happen. They're not closing games out. They there's a lot of positives with this team if you're patient, and there's also a lot of concerns. Like the positives are you're down pretty much every point guard on your roster. You've had a really difficult schedule in terms of opponents. I know we've had players out, but they've been on the road quite a bit, facing the Thunder 3 times. I'm not going to knock that one iota. On the other hand, you're 1-4 against the Eastern Conference. That's not going to cut it. And you're 3-6 at home. That's not going to cut it. Like there's low hanging fruit there. The Blazers are choosing not to pick and not
Hmm.
to eat. Like they did a really good job beating the Bucks without Giannis, but you've also had games twice with the Lakers without LeBron and Luca. You've had games without Wembanyama. You've had chances to make an impact, and they just aren't. And they've also had a little bit of bad luck. Like we
Hmm.
talked about those close games, they're just not closing out this year. And sometimes those are 50-50, and hopefully they kind of sway back to they not regress, but they go back up to
Regress to the mean.
because Orlando, you lose at the buzzer. Chicago, you lose at the buzzer. Toronto's a 3-point game. OKC could have went either way. It's Dallas lost in overtime, right? So they are losing a lot of games in crunch time, and I think a lot of that has to do with just not having a true number one option, not having a good scheme, and really not having the best decision making,
Mhm.
right? You just need to play smarter. They're not making their free throws. I mean, I talk about Denny like being selfish, but had he and Tumani made their last three free throws,
Mhm.
you're in a spot to win that game.
Or Jeremy Grant in Chicago if he
In
made those free
Chicago,
throws.
they both multiple free
Yeah.
throws were missed
Well,
in they
I
missed
to
free throws in the
quote,
Dallas game too. So they're leaving wins on the board. And when if you're really trying to make that playoff, like right now, they are 10th, they're 8 and 13. Let's just swap three of those victories. You then become 11 and 10. That puts you all the way up in eighth.
mhm.
So like three games, three spots. And this is why every game matters. And when it comes April and you're saying like I want to be in the postseason, well, what did you do in October, November, December? Because every game holds just as much weight.
When superstar players were out as well. The great philosopher, and I don't know who actually said it, but one of the two people from Mobb Deep, there ain't no such thing as halfway crooks. We actually have to commit to playing hard every game because we physically don't have enough players to half-ass it. Or if we are a defensive team, we have to actually be that identity, not wait until the fourth quarter of games that are absolutely winnable against Chicago or whoever. We actually have to commit to being it. And I get the we the players say they are a defensive team, but there are times and significant parts of the game where we look lackadaisical as hell defensively. If we're really going to be that defensive team, we have to own that shit. And we are not owning the fact that we are a defensive team. And the offense is going to be bad in half court. It just is, especially with Denny, who is doing a commendable job getting stats. And for me, statistics are really important for the whole for me judging how good a player is. But when it's 2 minutes left in the game and Denny has the ball, you know what we're doing. You know what we're doing. We're watching Denny dribble the ball. We're watching Denny dribble the ball and running into three dudes in the paint. Our offense is really, really basic, so we have to be defensively solid to make up for the fact that we can't score really well when games matter and teams are trying. So I
I will say that I know there were a couple games where it was both Scoot and Drew were out, and then we also had Jeremy out for a game, and then Shaden missed some time. So I will give them leeway when multiple bodies are out. But in general, Portland still has seven of their top nine players available.
we knew Scoot wasn't going to be there for the first
We
half of the
knew
year. We
Scoot
knew it.
exactly. So if you're looking at, I know Shaden's not fully healthy, but you have Shaden, you have Denny, you have Tumani, you have Donovan, you have Rob, you have Jeremy, right? Those are six, maybe six of your top eight. You should be better. I know that's a tough pill for Blazer fans to swallow. I know it's an easy excuse to say, "Oh, we don't have Blake Wesley and Matisse Thybulle really going out there and causing a lot of
Is
havoc."
Blake
And
Wesley going to be on a rotation on
he
any
is
other team?
not going to be a rotation player come the spring when Scoot Henderson is healthy. I know we don't have a point guard, but if you are going to tout Denny as this all NBA guy, and I get it, his numbers have been fantastic. He's averaging 26, 7, and 6 this season. Those are all-star numbers, but they are not leading to wins. All-stars help teams win. And I know a lot of Blazer fans are probably thinking I'm nuts, but the things that Denny are doing are the exact same things that Blazer fans, and I know this because I managed the communities during this era, are the exact same things that Blazer fans clowned Kevin Love for doing in Minnesota, putting up a bunch of stats and not getting any wins. That if you want to be an all-star, a real all-star, not just a Gordon Hayward one-time, Jamal McGlure one-time all-star, you need to lead your team to victories. It's all about the win-loss, right? It's great to put up numbers, but numbers are meaningless if you can't make the plays down the stretch, right?
To the people that aren't watching the YouTube, I pulled out my bobblehead of Jamal McClure. No, I agree. I think statistically, Denny is doing a fantastic job. It's just It's very easy to defend Denny Avdia when it matters. You know what I mean? It's just so easy. And we started seeing it in the first game that we talked about in the Bulls. The Bulls don't the Bulls don't have anyone that scares me defensively, but they did a really good job of who cares if Sudoku's trying to shoot it? Leave him open. Let's not let Denny Avdia carve us down the middle every single time. With this team, if if anyone tries to outside of Jeremy Grant on a catch and shoot, if anyone tries to shoot it, I'm like, hell yeah. If I was the opposing team, hell yeah, this is probably missing. And if it goes in, tip your cap, it's cool. I I really appreciate what Denny's doing statistically, but we he needs to not turn those blinders off or keep those blinders on when it is a clutch time. You need to give the ball to guys like Jeremy and guys like Shaden. You just can't do it yourself. And in certain games where you should win, he just didn't pass it when it was the right play.
It's just frustrating because you watch him play and how he's getting his productivity is the exact opposite of what he's trying to do in the clutch. He is not
Mhm.
an isolation scorer where he's going to step back and take a jump shot, right? He's his handle still needs quite a bit of work. A lot of guys on our team's handle needs quite a bit
He's
of
the
work.
best handler on the team, and that's not saying much.
Like, why not operate in the pick and roll? Let him make a decision. Why not play some two-man game with Shaden or run Jeremy off of some screens? And I think this is kind of where I'm starting to lose a lot of hope for Splitter to be the
Oh
long
yeah.
fix.
hmm
I think the job, I think he's in above his head.
it's not the worst thing to be he might get there as a NBA coach, but it might not be his time right now for him to have the reins of an NBA team. He might need more seasoning being the offensive coordinator or the big man coach. Yeah, I just don't see it right now. I'm not saying that it'll never be, but if we're trying to be in the playoffs, I don't think Tiago Splitter is the one right now.
Yeah. Brian Windhorst reported that Giannis requested a trade preseason, publicly stated he would commit to Milwaukee as long as they were in a winning situation. Well, the Bucks are not. They are 11th, 9 and 13 in the Eastern Conference. And obviously, anybody who saw that roster could kind of predicted that they are just atrocious without Giannis Antetokounmpo. Portland owns pick swaps in 28 and 30. They own their outright unprotected pick in 29.
29.
If you're Portland, if you're Joe Cronin, do you pick up the phone and you can make probably the best offer that anybody can make? Do you do that, Sage?
If this is NBA 2K, for sure, I think that it's skipping a bunch of steps for the Blazers, and then I think it becomes precarious because you're not sustainable, you're not efficient, you're not built sustainably. So I wouldn't do it if I was the Blazers with where we are at as a team because I just don't think that we have an identity. And if you're pushing in all your chips and all of your future assets, you need to have some more sustainability for me to feel like Giannis is a good player for us at the current moment. Injuries, youthful, we're not there yet for Giannis to take us over the top. So I wouldn't do it.
You make a million valid points. Everything you said is factually accurate. I would not be upset if the Blazers got into this, made an offer. I don't think you need to make a Godfather offer, but you have Danny Avdia, who we've discussed, who's about 5 years younger and on an incredible contract. You've also got Jeremy Grant to match salaries. It could really just be those two and maybe a guy like Matisse or even Chris Murray or something, and just bring over Giannis. They have picks. You could offer up the Orlando unprotected. You could say, well, because they made the trade with Washington, you would have to give them the best of the 2029 picks, maybe one of the swaps. I wouldn't give them both of the swaps. But the reason I wouldn't be upset is because Portland has had the opportunity for the past 3, 4 seasons to try to build sustainably, and we're still clawing at the 10 seed. Like if you look at what they've done, they've picked, I think probably the odds-on favorite, so to say, who they should have picked in the draft, right?
Mhm.
They got Shaden, they got Scoot, they got Donovan. Looking back that 24 draft, they had no chance at getting Steph Castle. He went above. Same with Risa Shea. Donovan's probably still a top 5 player in that draft. That's fine. But that draft is really
That
terrible,
was
and
a bad one.
Donovan
Well, I
still
mean,
doesn't
we
even.
watched so much film about that. Yeah, it was a
Yeah,
bad
Donovan still doesn't even finish out most of the games. Scoot, unfortunately, has just been incredibly injury prone.
and the
Shaden,
Chauncey Billups factor.
yeah, Shaden has shown a lot of progress, but also is a little injury prone. So for me, if I'm thinking we could get the third best player in the league, still keep Scoot, Shaden, Donovan, all of your youth, right? You could still even keep Hansen if that's what it took. Still have Tumani, like still have Drew, Dame coming back next year. Like I don't think it would necessarily be a championship move, but you could get Portland to where maybe you're getting back to the conference semis, conference finals. I think that's has some value, right?
Oh, for sure.
I know it's not quote unquote the smart thing to do because all of those picks for Milwaukee could be awesome, but like I've seen this team, I've seen how they've drafted, how they kind of botched. I'm not giving up on Hansen, but how they botched last year's draft where they could have had instant contributors in Cedric Howard or Derek Queen or even a better pick from the Pelicans this year.
Yeah.
I've seen what happens when a quote unquote better or what's the word I'm thinking? A group think player in Scoot is available. They should have taken Amen Thompson. Amen's just a better player, a better prospect. That's
I
I don't
would. I still think that if I would make that Scoot pick because of what I saw, I still believe in Scoot. It's less now, and the fact that Darren Peterson exists in a college scheme makes me realize that Scoot isn't the best point guard prospect I've seen. It's Darren Peterson now. Like,
there's a lot of luck. Nobody knew how injury prone Scoot was going to be.
or how dog shit our coaching staff. Well, we knew, but
Yeah, it's the fact is this organization does not like to commit to their youth, right? We should have been in this scenario 2 years ago
yeah.
where we said we're going to start you guys, we're going to let you go, and we're going to just try to get the best pick possible in an ethical way, not just roll out a bunch of vets. Oh, we kind of suck. Now let's put out just horrible rosters for the fans to watch and pray we get lucky in the lottery. It's just
Well, the thing that really just stops me, obviously our players aren't proven yet, but I don't think Tiago Splitter is a good enough coach to.
no, I think you would definitely go out and okay, Mike Malone or
Yeah.
whoever is Taylor
Yeah.
Jenkins, like let's get a real adult here. I'm just thinking, man, when's the we have maybe Bill Walton is the or Clyde Drexler, the last time we've had a player of this caliber in Portland under contract for 3 years. I think that would do a lot of good. I guess maybe it's just the past 4 or 5 years of not even you have these flashes, especially with Shaden, sometimes a little bit with Scoot where it's like, okay, I can see the future. But whether it's injuries, coaching with Billups, not getting lottery luck, being a ping pong ball away here and there, it just takes a little bit of a toll on you. And it's like, let's just get Giannis and let's have some fun, right? It's fun when you are really, really winning. And, with how OKC is built, I don't know if there's winning in anybody's future. You've got Wembanyama, so I wouldn't put our best offer available. If you could get Giannis for Denny and Jeremy and a couple of picks,
I would do that. I just don't think that that is what it would take to get Giannis.
can anybody beat that offer though?
I
Like
mean,
the Lakers
OKC
aren't beating
could.
it.
OKC could. Because they have the Clippers picking this draft. They have a whole bunch of
But
assets.
OKC's not trading their big three.
Shit. If I can get the Clippers and a few more picks and then Hartenstein, like
But
if the
Milwaukee
Spurs
still
could.
wouldn't control their draft though. We control Milwaukee's draft.
I think the Spurs could do something too. I don't think they trade Dillon, but they could take Castle. They could take De'Aaron Fox. I think there's teams that could beat us with that offer. I don't want to go all in on Giannis just because I don't know how good he will be when
That
that
you're that
athleticism
is a
goes.
very, very valid point.
Because he likes to do he does a lot of fullback dives to the hoop.
Yes, he
Just
does.
like just like Denny.
Yep.
What happened? How does he end his career? I don't think it's a beautiful
No, it's not.
ending. And
This
we
is
would
more this is more of me thinking, okay, you have Denny on a great contract. Denny is a good player, borderline all-star. Denny to me is not a number one guy.
No.
Denny is also going to command a maximum salary
Hmm.
in whenever his contract comes up. This is more of me thinking, how can we maximize Denny's value at the moment?
Yeah. And I totally I like the premise. I just don't like the player that we would get in this. I don't think we would have the team on our roster that would utilize Giannis where it would be good basketball. Because Donovan's in the paint,
You could also play small ball.
yeah, but Young isn't a good fit. Like, there's no good fits for Giannis on this roster. Giannis hasn't played on Milwaukee in a while. That team is better built around Giannis than the Portland Trail Blazers would be.
You don't
And they're
think
not a good team.
Drew and Shaden and Tumani, Giannis,
Who shoots? Who shoots?
if they're going to get Drew is hitting threes. If Tumani's just
Do
hitting,
you trust it long term?
yes, if they're just so the thing with the Blazers, if they just shoot catch and shoot threes, it's fine. But it's when it's I'm gonna
Any
dribble it,
difficulty. Yeah.
I'm gonna dance around, or I'm gonna have a guy in my face. You need the threes just to be butt naked.
Yeah.
And obviously it wouldn't be the last move. Cronin would have to go out and
If we got
you trade for a
uh
shooter.
yeah, we
Yeah.
multiple shooters.
Yes,
So
yes.
we have to have a plan to surround Giannis with spacing and people that are willing to not touch the ball that much.
I want the magic back in the Rose Garden. We were at the Bulls game, we were at opening night, and it's quiet. I don't know if it's a byproduct of a 2025 professional game where everyone's on their phone or just treating it like a social experiment, but it didn't get loud until that comeback. Hardly anybody was chanting. It just
I
maybe
went to a preseason game against the Kings, and that was the loudest it's ever been
and
in
it
the
was
Rose Garden.
for Hansen.
Young, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
And it's just like I just want some of that magic back. So I'm fully aware it may be a bad move long term, but damn it, I want to watch something.
I get it. I get that seeing your team, and obviously this would be we would be talking about playoffs and fun stuff. I just don't think that how many years is Giannis under contract? Like 3? Yeah, I just don't know how beautiful it would be in year 4 if we had to
And
resign.
that's okay. If you get 3 good years, so I've really changed my thought process on this team over the years. It used to be just like ring or bust. And I thought back and I was like, all of those early 90s teams, the 12 deep 2000 Blazers, did they get it done? No. But do I have just a plethora of memories? Absolutely. And it's that's what has still continued my fandom to this day are those really fun teams. And even to an extent, the 2019 Blazers getting to the conference finals
Mhm.
was an incredible run. Like I want to experience that. I don't want to be this first round exit or picking 10th in the lottery. I feel like if we don't figure this out with this group, and I know we will find that answer out once everyone gets healthy, like I don't want to be stuck in that purgatory where
Mhm.
now you're like Atlanta Hawks territory, right? Like you want to, unfortunately, you either want to be dog shit or you want to be fighting
Compete.
for a
Yeah.
first round playoff bye or first round home court advantage.
Yeah, I mean that's what the NBA is, where you gotta it's pick a side, and we've been middling for far too long, and that's the fault of management thinking that we were good when we weren't, or not deciding to fully suck, but still having these veterans with expensive ass contracts, or competing against yourself with signing Jeremy Grant to that extra year when there was nobody else really trying to get it. But we have fucked up.
Hmm.
This the organization has fucked up for the entire Jody Allen saga. So we have to make up for all of these fuck ups. We haven't been sustainable. So it's just for me it's just the wrong time to try and push in chips, because I feel like that's just another not thought out plan with this organization and this team that we love. It's just
So with
not.
that in mind, are you in favor then of getting completely new management? Because
Yeah, yeah.
I don't want Joe Cronin making any more picks
No, I don't.
or handling any more drafts or like I'm just That's my thought process. It's like, yeah, we have all these pick swaps and stuff. Like, how bad is he going to screw it up again?
No, I don't trust him since the last draft. Me personally,
Yeah, after that was a backbreaker for me, especially seeing how good Coward and Queen are. And this is by no means a negative or a slight on Hansen. I think that jury is way far out on him. This is more of a there are two really good prospects we could have had, or we could have had the juiciest trade asset in NBA history right now with that Pelicans.
I think the Young draft was incredibly bad value for the pick
That
that we had.
value, it's up there. We talk about the Dame Blazers 2017 killed any hopes
Yeah, no,
of that
the
because of how
Young
badly
trade is
Milt
like that, bro.
Olshey handled that. And so it's just okay if we get another chance, is he just gonna
I don't
screw?
trust his decision making, bro. I
No.
don't trust it at all.
He
We
makes
knew the guard situation sucked.
he makes moves in a vacuum really well, right? You look like, okay, that's a good move. Trading Damon what he got was a good move. Trading Drew to Boston, good move. And then, you know, getting Tumani from that Phoenix organization, good move. But then he's not able to. It's like in baseball, you're not able to string hits together. I'm gonna
He's
hit a
like the Blue
double.
Jays in the playoffs. He left too many people on the bases,
Too
bro.
soon, too soon, too soon, too soon, too soon. We were the better team. I will stand by that. But yeah, it's just I need him to have a plan. I need him to.
I just don't think we have a plan.
I don't think so. I think we're still kind of doing two
There's a
timelines.
disconnect between the actual coaching staff and the general managership. If ownership wants us to play fast, why the fuck do we have Donovan Clingan on this roster? Why do we have Young? These are the two slowest footed centers in the league. Yeah, and I get that we have to get rebounds somehow, but there is a complete and total disconnect between management of the on court team and the free agency and the general managership of this team. It does not make sense. And I'm sure that Jody Allen and I believe it was Vulcan had partly fault in this. But there is a humongous disconnect. If it was me, I would clean house with everybody. Smits can stay, but I would get everybody the fuck out of there because I don't think that Tiago's good enough yet, and I think Cronin, I don't trust him with any big. I don't. I would fire him before the trade deadline. That's just me. Like he hasn't done enough for me to feel comfortable with him. You knew you were getting a haul with Damian Lillard. You knew you were getting a haul with Drew Holiday. That doesn't impress me. The one thing that he's done that's good is Tumani Kamara. I'm sorry. That's not good enough. So I would fire them all.
Yeah, I think the clock is ticking on the Blazers regime. Once I know there's been injuries, every team's dealing with injuries. It seems like it's always something. Oh, we're injured or we're tanking. There's a reason we're tanking. There's a reason for these things to happen. Everyone's dealing with the same stuff. Injuries are not new to the NBA, especially right now. It seems like it's kind of hitting the league like a pandemic.
And then there's people that are sick. Every team's dealing with it, the team
Every
right
team
now.
is dealing with it, and the Blazers really need to once they kind of navigate this storm and they get people back and healthy, we need to see improvement from Scoot. We need to see smart decisions made. If Robert Williams is still playing healthy, you need to extract some value from him because, like you mentioned, you spent two basically lottery picks on 7 foot centers. You don't need to, if you can get something for Rob, if he's healthy, you have to do it, right? You have to be smart. I don't want to see them continuously be, oh, we can't trade him now, or we're going to ask for the moon when you know you're not going to get the moon. I need to see something from this organization, this front office, because you're not going to make any noise this year. So it's all about development, seeing if you can sneak into the plan. If you can, great. But if somebody's going to give you a good deal for Jeremy or Drew, take it, get off of those contracts and
We
do
can't we
this,
can't
do this the right way.
just think about it. We cannot have Dame, Drew, Scoot, and then when all of these dudes need to get paid,
And you
we
still have
just
Blake Wesley, and you still have Caleb Love, who has helped you win games. Those are five players who played the same position.
I just don't. Well, I'm just talking about the finance. Drew's getting paid a shitload to be your
Yeah.
your
Oh, the
your
finances
seventh or sixth
absolutely
man. Yeah,
Makes sense. But when you're also getting production from Blake and from Caleb, you can't just transfer that production to a taller player once Dame and Drew and Scoot play in. So
yeah.
you have to figure a way to balance this roster out because we're desperately
I
lacking.
think this roster is extremely flawed too. Let's project these games for this week.
I mean, yeah, it's probably going to get a little ugly, and I mentioned that last 2 weeks ago. It's going to get ugly. I think it will get better. As just flawed as the roster is, as unhappy as I am with Joe Cronin and Tiago Splitter, I do think it will get better. We have a road trip where you've got Cleveland, Detroit, who's leading the East, and Memphis, who is closing in ground on Portland in a hurry. Cleveland tonight, same cast of characters on the injury report, plus Denny Avdia, Chris Murray, and Donovan Clingan are all questionable. I don't see any. If Denny's banged up and Shaden, who I don't think should be playing,
I
like
don't think I think he should take like a 2 week. The thing that scared me
whatever
last
it
night
takes,
was
dude, he's got a huge wrap on that calf. He's clearly going at like 60% right now. The last thing you need is a major injury
Mhm.
to Shaden Sharp.
I texted you this. He's having a good first half. What scares me is he has a great second half and then is out for 3 weeks. And I think that he's not healthy.
Thankfully he's not on the injury report today, but watching him with your eyes, you can tell he's not 100%.
No.
This is going to be a tough game. I don't know how Portland can match the size, that
Mhm.
immobility that Cleveland plays with. Donovan is a clear number one option. The way Portland wins this game is if Cleveland sleepwalks. They see that injury list and it's like, oh, we've got it easy. And then you got, Golden State 2.0, where City and Caleb just kind of explode and you're in a close game.
So
I
you
think
think
it's
Blazers win?
probably no, I think it's probably closer
Damn
to
it.
that second Thunder game where
Yeah.
they just handle business. We're just going to be outmatched. It's the second night of a back-to-back.
They need to win as many of these cheapy games as humanly possible if they're trying to get to the number one seed. If they're
Yeah.
trying to compete for I was about to say Super Bowl, an NBA championship, they need to win this game. I think the Cleveland wins.
Then you go to Detroit to take on a Pistons team who just kind of surprising the hell out of everybody right now. I think they're like 17-4,
Hmm.
playing really good ball. Cade's definitely going to be an all-star. They've kind of done it a really respectable way. I mean, just 2 years ago, they had lost 21 straight
Hmm.
games, or they had at point were on pace to maybe have the worst record in NBA history. Fired their coach, got somebody in there, got some shooters around Cade Cunningham. Huh.
Hmm.
Joe Cronin. Huh. How would that have worked? I don't know. Crazy strategy.
Yeah.
Well, it's working. They still have all of their young talent. This I don't see how Portland beats
How bad is Tumani gonna get screwed over when he tries to guard Cade? I just don't think that it's gonna be
he
good.
needs to just go under the screen and make Cade shoot threes. Do
Yeah.
not let Cade get into the paint. Do not let him throw lobs to Jalen Duren. Uh,
Jalen Duren has been playing like a superstar as well. There were times they didn't take his extension. He was not going to. He took that step. Last year there was times where JD wasn't really part of that finishing five. Like they let Stewart get minutes over him. Now he is. He could be an all-star just as well as Cade. So having JD and Cade, that's a very tough ask.
they play good defense. They're fifth in the league in points per game. They only allow 113 points per game. Yeah, they are
We're gonna
just
lose.
they are playing really well right now. They go to Milwaukee tonight, but then they host Portland for the first of three. We will also see this team December 22nd
Hell.
in Portland. And then Portland has what I think is the most crucial game of the week, where you look at the Memphis Grizzlies. This is Portland got a little bit of luck, right? I think losing to San Antonio in the Cup help them out in a way because then they would have had to play the Lakers and then probably another team that got knocked out. So even if you do beat the Spurs, you're probably looking at two extra losses. I know they lost to the Spurs and that wasn't the performance we wanted, but you get rewarded with a game in New Orleans, the worst team in the Western Conference, a team you had just beaten in their building. That follows. So you play the Memphis Grizzlies Sunday, then you get the a nice long break. You play the Pelicans on Thursday, and then you come home to play the Warriors. Warriors are 11-11. You've had good success against them already this year, beating them twice. This is a chance for you. Okay, you're probably going to lose to, you lost to Toronto, Cleveland, and Detroit. I get that. This is a chance to start to make that ground where you're starting to get some bodies
Winnable
back.
games. Yeah.
Drew Holiday should be reevaluated any day now. Scoot Henderson hopefully is back within by the first of the year. Hopefully Shaden's getting healthy. You've got this nice long break. Matisse should be coming back soon. This is really when you've got to make your hay because if you're looking at the schedule at Memphis, at New Orleans, then you go home to play the Warriors, the Kings, and then you get the Kings on the road, and
Those are all winnable
then
games.
you've got Detroit at home, Orlando at home, the Clippers at home, the Celtics at home, the Mavericks at home. Before that, this is a great chance. So the Memphis game to me starts it all. If you want to
Mhm.
be 500 or better going into 2026, it starts with the Memphis Grizzlies. They absolutely, it's not a must win, but for December basketball, it's about as close of a must-win game as I can remember for this team if with that has legitimate play-in hopes.
Mhm.
Memphis is closing in on them. Memphis is, I think, just 2 games back of us for the 10th spot. They have problems of their own. Zach Edey's been playing incredible,
So
but
I told
they are
you
without Ja probably.
I think he plays because they I read that he's out for one game.
Yeah, so on November 17th, he was announced he'll miss at least 2 weeks with a right calf strain. And so obviously it's a little bit past 2 weeks there, but they should have most other folks available, although they're going to be struggling to handle the ball. Ty Jerome is also out, and
Vince
Scotty.
Williams has been their point guard and has
Yeah.
been he's done a pretty remarkable job. One compliment to you. I didn't think Zach Edey was good. He was going to be a starting caliber center. You're right. You were right. I was wrong.
Well, I was also wrong on Dalton Connect, so you win some, you lose some.
I mean, if we're doing the win some lose some, we both made an ass out of ourselves in on this podcast. But you were totally correct with Zach Edey. With the Grizzlies, Jaren Jackson Jr. has been awful. He has not played the way that you expect Triple J to play. He's not shooting as well. I mean, he was never a rebounder, but he's not rebounding. He just is letting Vince Williams and Cedric Howard have more usage, and he's just shooting poorly. I think that Jaren Jackson Jr. is hurt. There's no way that you go from an all-star level to a complete and total disappointment where he's not even hitting at an NBA caliber of shooting. So I think there's something wrong with him. But I think Vince Williams is doing well. If Jaw's playing, that adds a bit of explosion that I don't think that we will be able to handle. But if Jaw's in, I would say this is a loss. But if he's out, and there's a pretty good chance he's out, or he just doesn't play as much, I think the Blazers win because the Grizzlies are also going through it, just like us, especially with the Jaren Jackson stuff. So I think the Blazers win.
Yeah, this is a tough game because we match up well with what they want to do,
Hmm.
right? I think Jaren Jackson Jr. in a lot of ways does a lot of things that Chet Holmgren does, and I think we had success by going small on them. So you also have Donovan who can match minutes with Edie, and that's exactly what I would do. If the moment Edie goes out, Donovan goes
Donovan
out.
goes out.
I
I
would,
think
I would,
Tumani would do a great job against Jaren.
yeah. And I thought, you've also got
Sure.
Jeremy did a good job against Chet Holmgren. Portland has the bodies to go small.
I'm worried if Ja plays, I'm worried at how we stop him.
Maybe Jaws is maybe that's a bonus that he plays, and maybe they play better with. It's one of the Ewing theories. He's probably not feeling the greatest being on this team right now. There's always a lot of
He lost his
interest.
joy, as they say.
Yeah, there's always a lot of stuff circulating around him. So it would be a hard loss to take if you get beat by Vince Williams,
Mhm.
Jalen Wall, Cedric Howard, and Jaren Jackson. Portland has better players than that. They will have time to rest. I'll go Blazers victory as well.
Damn it, I have no separation. How much am I down?
Just 3 games.
Oh, okay.
Just three
I don't
games.
need to. I don't need to say we beat the Cavaliers yet.
No, not yet. So I do think they salvage this. I do think if the Blazers figure out a way to get this victory and then really take advantage of a very advantageous December
Mm.
schedule, they are going to be right back where we want them to be.
And then
But
Zion's out for 3 weeks, so you're
but
playing the Pelicans with.
If
without him.
they don't start ticking off these wins they did early in the season, what's frustrating is early in the season, you play Utah, you play the first Lakers game without LeBron, and you're like, we're winning these games. And sure enough, they showed up and they just handled their shit, and it was awesome. Like, this is beautiful. This is what we've been waiting for 4 or 5 years. Now it's like you just don't know what you're gonna get. And so
Mm,
I think they absolutely have to run through this schedule, start to put some pressure on some teams ahead of them because you want to be sitting pretty come the second half of the season.
mm.
And so this is the pivotal game. If they lose this, I think it could unravel pretty quickly. So I don't want to put too much emphasis on one game, but it's going to make a difference.
For sure. All right. You have anything else you want to talk about, or are we wrapping this bad boy up?
No, let's wrap this one up.
All right. We are available on iTunes finally. I'm very happy about that. Stitcher, wherever you get your podcasts, we should be there. Clips will be on IG, TikTok, put this on YouTube. So thank you all for listening and watching. We appreciate and love you. Happy holidays and go Ducks for Dustin. Go Ducks. All right. Later.
Later, bud.